of the agenda and late items. Are there any late items?
No.
Thank you very much. Could I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda? Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Federica, all in favor. Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, committee of the whole minutes from December the 12th, 2023. Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Chung, all in favor. Thank you. Councillor Bennett is not here today. He is on holiday. And I don't believe he can sign in. Oh, he can. He's in Mexico, I think, and I just was wondering if that was a problem. However, we'll see if he does. All right, so first off today, we have two delegations, and I will ask the first delegate, Sarah Vanderhoven, to come up to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Sarah Vanderhoeven, 10129 74th Avenue, Soyce, BC. And I'm here today to address a matter that weighs heavily on each homeowner, resident, and business owner in our community. The recent tax hikes in water and sewer levies. To begin, I must highlight a fundamental issue that has not only caused confusion, but also distrust amongst us. Communication, or rather the lack of thereof. As we navigate these financial adjustments, it is distressing to note the silence from those we have entrusted with our welfare. This silence has led to a lack of understanding among the townspeople. The difference between property taxes, water and sewer levies remains a mystery to many. Taxation and levies are not simply line items on a bill. They are contributions to our shared future. And it's the duty of our elected officials, particularly the mayor and council, to ensure every citizen has an understanding, not just the what, but the why and the how of these financial decisions. Let's consider the water and sewer levies as a case in point. Property taxes are a general fund that supports different public services, while water and sewer levies are typically earmarked for the maintenance and upgrade of our vital infrastructure. Without clear communication on this differentiation, residents are left to wonder where their hard-earned dollars are flowing. Now, it's not unheard of to hold retrospective discussions about the actions of previous councils, within which Mayor Sue has been a participant for numerous years. Yet accountability is not a matter of pointing fingers, but rather taking ownership and initiating change. Mayor Sue, the community is waiting for that proactive voice, the beacon that illuminates not only the challenges, but the forward path. We need to hear from you. You should be front and center as a good leader would be. The impact of mismanagement observed over the past decade or so has left a lingering question in the air. Do we trust the same leadership with future funds? Residents want reassurance that their investment is secure, that the stewardship of our resources will be both transparent and effective. So how do we bridge this divide? I was here back in September, talked to you guys about this then, communication. The solution starts with proactive and accountable communication. There are a few tangible steps I put together just to bring across your desks if you haven't been listening to what people are saying. Transparency. Implement a clear, transparent reporting system for tax and levy expenditures. Allow residents to track where their money goes. Educate them. Host town hall meetings specifically designed to demystify property taxes and water and sewer levies. Explain it to them. They don't understand. You've lumped it all together. They don't get what you guys are talking about. You have to educate the people. Regular updates. Provide quarterly updates on infrastructure, projects funded by levies, including progress reports, financial audits. Give them some information. Open forums, I applaud you for the January 16th meeting. I think that you're gonna see a lot of people be able to ask questions and get answers that they need. Provide these platforms for questions and suggestions. Let the community's voice be heard. Mayor Sue, the community seeks your leadership now, more than ever. We look to you to spearhead these changes, to articulate the council's strategies for improvement and progress. Let us remember that a divide in understanding leads to a divide in community spirit. It is only through clear, consistent, and transparent communication that we can rebuild trust and foster a community united, not in confusion, but in the common goal of prosperity and well-being. I really hope that you guys take heed to what I'm saying to you. It's not about finger pointing. It's not about us versus you. It's about let's get together and work together. And provide the people with the understanding. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
good job.
Also, did anyone have any questions or concerns? Okay, thank you. Mr. Longley, you're next. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, J.F. Lanier. I'm gonna call it 28 Empire Street, Pursuit BC, business owner, property owner. First of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me the time and listening to me now. I think you know by now that I'm not the only person disappointed with you, but that's probably clear. What makes it much worse though is that it feels as though you completely ignored the local residents and the business impacts that your decisions make on. We spoke about it in September. I offered my views from a business perspective and what a business owner does to run their business. And it seems that almost fell on deaf ears. We've been watching the council meetings and we haven't seen you guys really debate on any of the subjects at hand. We shouldn't have to be the voice. We shouldn't have had to get organized to be the voice of the people. Really, we hired you as councillors to be the voice of the people. And it's kind of sad for us to think that we are now your enemy, or you feel as though we're being that way. All we've done is assemble the collective people's thoughts. And we've done that through meetings, we've done that through petitions. So we've done a lot of work in that essence, and it's easy to reach out to us and have discussions on how people feel. And of course, they elected you, and that's what they expect is for you to sort of represent their needs and their space in this community, right? One of the things that comes up is how closely do you as councillors look at department spending? Do you look at lists and make a solid effort to determine the large difference between what is a need and what is a want? In the budget that we studied, the one that's out, we sure found a lot of wants. And that's the frustration for us is, do we need all these items at a time when infrastructure needs to be worked on? Do you use that theory or that approach to adjust the direction of the town spend? I've heard you loud and clear, because I've spoken with a few of you, that your position doesn't pay enough for you to go into details, and you have to trust the staff in areas where they're strong. But that simply isn't enough when the community at large is at risk of losing residents, the risk of losing commerce, and even worse, we might be at risk of losing the schools if we lose the wrong demographic in our town. So businesses are already losing money as locals are watching their pennies in fear of not being able to budget. Again, that goes to what Sarah was saying. They don't know what's coming. They don't actually know. Even if they call in town and speak with Jim and get an idea of what their taxes will be, we still don't have mill rates and they still are scared of what's coming, right? Some businesses are choosing to close, others are working on relocation strategies, which is a big fear for me. I look at that and I think if businesses are going to relocate to a more business-friendly community like Oliver, we're all in trouble. Staffing is bordering on impossible in this town, and with a tax hike that's not working class friendly, we might be exacerbating that already seemingly impossible situation. In short, it was really hard to be in business here the last few years, and instead of your leadership working hard to solve some of the already difficult problems, we've simply added a new one. Businesses need to stay competitive, but it's your job to make sure that the city stays competitive to bring businesses to town and to keep the ones that are already here. So speaking of good business models, should it be fair to assume that when the town creates a budget of $50 million, there should be some business mindedness and a business approach to it? I think there should. So the first rule of competitive business is have 3 quotes. Do you have 3 quotes on the water and sewer? Have you made the effort to get more quotes on the water and sewer? Can you show us that you've made those efforts? We've built an amazing team of volunteers that know the town water and sewer. They would act as a non-biased consultant on this problem. Why did a group of citizens have to form this group? It's a question you should ask yourself. This clearly is the biggest expenditure in the history of this town. We're trusting a firm that has an unperfect track record in the last few years, and we have lots of proof of it. Our group can speak to this point in detail if you want to make time to meet with us. This group has uncovered some alarming issues with maintenance, specifically of sewer cells that are causing some issues. You may want to speak with them about that. If the knowledge is right here in town and only a coffee visit away, maybe it's time you talk with present and past employees instead of firing the good ones and putting a hush order on some of the staff. My last little bit is more pointed at you, Rod. It's to determine your level of commitment to our community. How long would you say you consider yourself a resident of Osceola at this point? Is it my last question?
No, I'm sorry, you can't, yeah.
Well, keep asking questions, no answers. How long do you see yourself remaining as a part of a beautiful community? I'm assuming from what I've heard, you want to retire here, so I'm going to take that as the answer. So there can only be 2 possible reasons for you to have an Alberta license and insurance on your vehicle. One is that your head is still in Alberta and you're ready to cut and run at any moment and you're not actually invested in the community. 2 is that you really think you're above the law and you shouldn't have to pay your fair share of broad infrastructure like you're making us do. So in essence, you see yourself better than others and you feel happy to cheat the system. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason, is the person you're allowing to lead this town. I gave you those notes there because you are in control of our town. We expect you to question things that are brought to you. I'm told that in past, councillors had big deliberations with the CAO and make sure that they spoke for their people. We don't want big city tactics in our small town. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Counselor Chong.
First off, I would very much like to thank you, Mr. Lonnie, for coming in today and expressing your concerns. It takes gumption and respect for democracy to speak in front of elected council, especially in an era of governance where there's ample misinformation and negative discourse. An era where through tools like social media, everyone is given a voice and the opportunity to exercise their fundamental right of freedom of speech, which is a beautiful thing. But also, which is why in the spirit of renewed transparency and communication, I would like clarification on some of your own points. Okay. Have you read the 2023 Osceola Water System Infrastructure Plan?
We've tried to, yes. We've got a group that works on doing that.
There's a difference between try and have. Is that a yes or no?
I'm not an expert. As you said, you were not an expert. You stated, Councilor Fong, you stated that you weren't analyst when you read the budget. You spoke to all of us and said, well, I'm not an accountant, so I don't get all of that. I'm the same way with water and sewer, and that's why we've had to put together a committee. And we've been lucky enough to have past water and sewer people join the committee. People that have retired here and are very smart with that stuff. So they studied in bigger detail. Now, if you guys have an onboard problem, and you need to make sure the trucks are all functioning in town, or the tractors are doing what they're supposed to do, I'd be an expert at that.
That's fantastic. But you serve as a voice.
I do serve as a voice. Somebody has to be strong enough to make a representation.
So the message should be fact checked.
The message is fact check.
Good. So let's go back to, let's start with your December 19th Facebook post. I have a few thoughts about that one. to jog your memory.
It's awesome. Lord, is this awesome?
So your first point, and I quote, is when it comes to water, do we have failing water mains? No. We have 23.7 kilometers of asbestos concrete, which is nearing, if not at, the end of its service life.
Can I speak to that point?
Yeah.
So the committee that we put together has also done some research on that. And are you aware that communities up the valley have started to line their asbestos piping, and there are other options? Yeah.
It's an option that's been used for, my understanding is for sewer, and it's only been recently used for potable water, and there's a minimum main diameter that's required.
Yeah.
For us, even a 6-inch main, due to sedimentation and of course manganese and precipitates, most likely going to be a 4-inch main, which makes it unfeasible. Yes, I'm aware of the liner technology. Yeah.
Good, but some of the problem here was that you haven't communicated that to anybody. That hasn't been made public.
Down to communicate that
Okay.
and be appropriate.
It feels as though you're singling me out. I didn't
No,
single
it's-
you out. It's,
No,
you know, like,
and I
you want us to
appreciate
fact
that.
check? We
I appreciate that.
we could go into deliberation on that. I didn't see this as some sort of judge and jury and.
And I apologize.
I think you're going a bit far.
That comes off as a.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
my fact checking is
Will
with
not.
past employees that have specifically said that the water isn't completely failing.
and through that, that's how you're making judgment of our system when we have a 215-page plan, which details not only the expected life, the risk, and the unit cost.
I go back to the fact that that plan is done by one engineering company. You have not had a second opinion on it.
The one engineering company that also serves Hope, Caribou, Williams Lake, Logan Lake, Hope, Barrier.
The one engineering
Fairmeadows,
company,
Kamloops, 100 Mile House, Clearwater, Oliver, Princeton, Cache Creek, Chase, and Burns Lake.
the one engineering company that's responsible for fire hydrants that don't work on the road past Hilltop.
And there's,
There's issues with some of this stuff, John. You and I
There
could go over this all day long. So if that's all you want to do right now, I could have come forward here and just gone fact by fact and tried to disassemble your budget. We actually came here to plead with you guys and to try to be friends in this. We're in a community together. All I want you to know as counselors and as the mayor is that you have the ability to make the changes. That you should, that you don't just put up your hand every time a budget comes through. We want to see you guys deliberate it. We want to see it on camera, that you're upset with something or that you've heard from the residents. You're going to hear from different residents than Zach will. Zach will hear from different residents than Sue will, and so will Jim, and so on and so forth. And with your group of people that you know, or people that approach you, that's what you should come to this table with and say, you know what, I was talking to some people and I've got more questions that I need to ask because that you're their voice. I'm not their voice. I shouldn't have to do the work that I'm doing to appease people. They ask me every day, what's going on with my taxes? I don't actually know what's going on with my taxes. All I know is that I'd like to represent those people because I don't feel you're doing the job. So if you want to attack me or a Facebook post,
Yeah.
I didn't name you specifically. I didn't name anybody specifically. All I want you to do, when I elected you and I promoted you, and I went to your rallies and did all the things it took to get you to that seat, is to represent me as a business person. I came here and I spoke very nicely in September. And I don't feel that I was heard because I didn't hear it in subsequent meetings that you guys actually deliberated over the budget. All I heard is that the budget that was in place then got passed. That's our frustration at this point.
Can I
There's-
can I just say something here? I appreciate what you're saying, JF, but you do need to know that we did take notes at that September meeting. And we looked at every issue that was brought up. And there was, at the next meeting, an explanation. We asked questions and we had a lot of those answered and explained. So while I understand that it's probably not enough for everybody that wants more information, we do question and we do spend a lot of time asking questions and looking at things and reading. So I think that you're being a little bit unfair to be critical of us not doing the work, because I think we do a lot of it. It may not be what everybody thinks is important, but we have to deal with the issues that come forward to us And the reasons why, when we did the vote on the budget, it was a unanimous vote. So we weren't just saying, yeah, we agree with everything without asking. We absolutely are willing to look at that vote and to look at how we can look at many of the issues again, and that will come up this afternoon, that notice of motion. It is also why we are having a meeting next week on the 16th, where hopefully a lot of the questions that both you and Sarah have asked will be answered and will be explained. And we are happy to try and explain what's going on, why we're doing things, where we're doing things, what we're doing things. And our staff have done a great job of putting together explanations for it. I know that it's not everybody's answer to everything, but believe me, you have hired us and elected us to do this job. And we're trying to do the best that we can. Is it the best that anybody can do? Probably not. There's always more. But believe me, we are really trying to do what we can for this community. Go ahead, Councillor Tom.
And I do apologize if this came off as me attacking you. You've always been friendly. I have great respect for you. You're a prominent voice in this community and a prominent member. And
Trust me,
understand-
I don't want to be here this morning.
And I
Of
know,
all the things I do in my life,
and I don't want that.
this is the least pleasant.
100%. But you also have to understand your voice has a lot of power. So when there is misinformation and it's not 100% correct and it creates a narrative which is simply not true and has also delayed capital projects and other projects and has
I
cost
believe
the
the town
town,
projects, I don't think so.
not you. I'm
I
saying.
think, you know, that these
The
accusations have gone.
OCI,
You know, you walked out of the last meeting because you felt you were being bullied. You're bullying me now, so you can kiss my nuts.
You know, are you gonna
Good
go
job.
and question everybody on the 16th like this? Because that's
Excuse
rude.
me,
You guys are doing it
You are not
wrong.
on the
The whole
agenda.
town is upset. There's 2,500 people that are upset. You're not listening to them. We're trying to be their voice in a really polite way.
You have no
You
power.
want me to answer your questions, you won't answer mine.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't even answer anybody's questions. You look after your kids while you're on a Zoom meeting. Other guys fall asleep. It's all a bunch of crap in this place.
Wow.
Don't
Okay,
put your hand on the
so,
Like,
You don't have any right to touch anybody.
excuse me, this is not an open meeting. We had two people that had asked to be on the agenda and were allowed to be on, and that is, those two people have had that chance. Okay, thank you. We are now going to move on to new business and the Silga amendments to the Constitution. Mr.
Hello, Your
Are
Worship.
you going to talk about that?
Every year there's a civil conference. It's an opportunity for representatives of the area to get together, talk about challenges they have, and ultimately debate, discuss, exchange ideas, and ultimately provide resolutions to which that organization will go to provincial representatives, et cetera. So this is providing you with the opportunity to discuss, think about potentially considering a resolution that Silga will debate. This is here mostly for information and your potential direction.
Thank you. I do know that I asked Mr. Zackel to find out exactly how much the costs were for Silga. That is our first place of going to present things. It's the Southern Interior Local Government Association. It is, it's the first step towards UDCM. So we would go to those meetings, most of us. We would then have, make recommendations there and vote on them. If they are agreed by Silga, then it then goes to UBCM, which we attend as well, which is all of us, Union of BC municipalities, which is usually in Victoria or Vancouver or Whistler. each year. So the cost for us, one of the things that we've been asked is a constitution fee amendment. The cost for 2023 was $750 was the amount that was paid to Silga. The recommendation is for 2024 that there's be a 5% increase, which would bring it up to $782. So that is one of the things, and there's also that there will be, I'm assuming, will be debated at the annual meeting. And there is also the lifetime convention registration where past UBCM presidents and Silga presidents are granted a lifetime membership. So all we're doing today is just having a look at these, and these will be decided at the Silga meeting, which is held in late April this year in 2024. We have not decided whether we're attending that or not, but normally many of us do. So there is, if anybody has any concerns about that, any questions, council, on Silga membership or resolutions? And if there are any calls for resolutions, we can provide those to the Silga executive. Okay, thank you. I do not think that we have anything else on the agenda, so I will ask for a motion, please, to terminate the meeting. Councillor Federica, Councillor King,